In the previous video, we have seen some basic SQL queries like inserting data into a database table, updating the data into a database table, and deleting the data from a database table. So this is completed. In this video, we will see how to connect to a database in Java and how to execute the basic SQL queries that we have seen in the previous video. So to connect to a database in Java, we use JDBC. JDBC is nothing but Java Database Connectivity. So JDBC is Java Database Connectivity, and this is an API which uses JDBC drivers to connect with the database. So to connect to a database in Java, we use JDBC, which is nothing but Java Database Connectivity, and this JDBC is nothing but an API which uses JDBC drivers to connect to a database. So in order to connect to a database, first we need to have this JDBC drivers. So we need to download these JDBC drivers and we need to configure them in Eclipse, because Eclipse is the one we are using to write the program. So we need to configure these JDBC drivers in Eclipse. So first let us see how to download these JDBC drivers. So for downloading these JDBC drivers, go to google.com and type MySQL Connector Java or MySQL Connector Java download. Okay, you have to type this one and you will get the results where you can get this JDBC drivers for MySQL. So in this video we will see how to connect to a MySQL database. So we will download the JDBC drivers to MySQL. Okay, let's see this one more time. So for connecting to a database in Java, we use JDBC. JDBC is nothing but Java Database Connectivity, and this is an API, and this API uses JDBC drivers. So in order to first, before writing a program in Java, we need to download these JDBC drivers and we have to configure these JDBC drivers in Eclipse. Again, these JDBC drivers are nothing but some jar files, Java jar files. So in order to download this JDBC driver, we need to go to google.com and type MySQL Connector Java download. So this is what we have to type. So let's download this MySQL connector and configure it in Eclipse first before writing the program. Okay, now in Google search MySQL Connector Java and you will see dev.mysql.com/downloads connector. So click on this one. Once you go here, you can download this MySQL connector here. So you will have different operating systems here. So select platform independent, and then it will say platform independent, architecture independent, MySQL connector -Java 8.0.15. So this is the latest version and you can download this one by clicking this download button. Okay, so I have already downloaded this one, so I am not downloading it again. So I have downloaded 8.0.11 version. Now the latest version is 8.0.15. So you can download the latest version, so that's not a problem. Now once you download that one and unzip, then you will see this folder. So go to this folder and this is the driver file, JDBC driver file we need. So this is MySQL-connector-java 8.0.11. So this is the one we need to configure with Eclipse. So this is a jar file actually. So this is an executable jar file. So if you configure this one, just this one in Eclipse, then we can start with writing programs for connecting to MySQL database. So let's see how to configure this one in Eclipse. Now in Eclipse, so what we have to do is right click on this source folder and go to build path. So here you will see build path, and under the build path you will see configure build path. So right click on the source folder, or also you can also right click on the project folder. So on the project folder, right click that one and go to build path and you will see configure build path. So click on configure build path. Once you click on configure build path, then go to this tab libraries under Java build path. So under this libraries, you will see add external jars here. So click on add external jars and then come to this MySQL connector Java 8.0.11. In your case, it will be 8.0.15. And once you come here, it will show you this MySQL connector jar file. Okay, just double click on this one and you will see that it is loaded into this libraries tab, and then click on apply and close. So now the MySQL connector jar file is configured with Eclipse. So let me explain you one more time. Just right click on the project and go to build path and configure build path and go to Java build path here in this one, and then go to libraries tab and click on add external jars and add the MySQL connector jar file. So once this is added, then you will see it here, MySQL connector Java 8.0.11. So and then click on apply and close. Then that means that we have configured the JDBC driver successfully in Eclipse. Now we can write program to connect to the database and we can execute the queries that we discussed in the previous video. Okay, now how to connect to the MySQL database? There are mainly 5 steps for connecting to a MySQL database. The first one is we need to register the driver class. And the second one is we have to create a connection. And third one is we have to create a statement. And fourth one is execute queries. And fifth one is close connection. So these are the 5 things we have to do for connecting to a database and execute the queries. First one is register the driver class. Second one is create a connection. Third one is create a statement. Fourth one is execute the queries. And fifth one is close the connection. So the first one is registering the driver class. So for registering the driver class, we use the method forName. So forName of class is used to register the driver class. So class.forName. So forName is the method we are using and class is the class. So class.forName of, for MySQL we have to give com.mysql.jdbc.driver. So this is what we have to give. And for Oracle we have to give class.forName oracle.jdbc.driver.oracle.driver. So this is what it will change. And there is one more thing where we have to give the server URL, that will also change. But for registering the driver class, we have to use the method forName of the class. So we use class.forName com.mysql.jdbc.driver. And once the driver class is registered, then we have to create, this is the second step, we have to create a connection object. So for MySQL, the connection object is connection con is equal to driver manager.getConnection, and this is the database server URL. So we have to give JDBC MySQL localhost 3306, because the 3306 is the server, the port where the MySQL database will be running. So this is what we have to give. And then the database name we have to give it here. The database name, the database that we have created yesterday was DB testing. And then the username, database username and password. In our case, it will be Selenium and Selenium, because we have created this new username and password. So we have to give Selenium, and the database name will be DB testing. So this is what we have to give. So we have to create a connection object first. So for creating a connection object, we have to give connection con is equal to driver manager.getConnection of, then the server URL of the database. The server URL will be like JDBC MySQL 2/ localhost, and then the port where the MySQL database is running, and the database name / the database name. In our case, it will be DB testing, and then the username and password for the database. In our case, it will be Selenium, because this is what we have created yesterday. In case of Oracle, it will become like connection con is equal to driver manager.getConnection of JDBC oracle thin @localhost 1521:exe:, and then we have to give the username and password. So this is what we have to do for. So in this tutorial, we will see how to connect to the MySQL database. So we will use this one. And once the connection is created, then we need to create a statement object. So for creating the statement object, we will say statement stmt is equal to, this is the connection object we have created. So con.create statement. So statement stmt is equal to con.create statement. And once the statement object is created, then we have to execute the query. So for executing the query, what we have to do is we will use the execute query method, and then we will provide the query, the SQL query. So this one we have already discussed, like the basic SQL query. So those queries we have to give it here, and the result will be into a result set. So result set rs is equal to stmt. So this is the statement object we have created, dot execute query, and then we'll give the query, and this will return a result set actually. So we have to mention, we have to create an object of the result set here. Result set rs is equal to stmt, the statement object that we have created in the previous step, dot execute query method, and then we will use select star from employee. Okay, and this will result like a lot of results actually. Let's say I have like 4 rows, so it will result like 4 rows. We have to print like one by one. For this one, what we'll do is we'll use a while loop, and then with this one rs dot next. That means whenever this result set is written, first it will come and sit here at the top of this one. Let's say this first row, second row, third row, and fourth row. So it will come at the top of this result set. So we'll use rs dot next method. So it will come here to the first one, and then it will print system.out.println. We will use rs.getInt of 1. That means let's say we are getting the id. id is nothing but integer, so we have to use getInt method of this result set rs. And if we are getting a string, then we have to use rs.getString of 2. That means 2 means second column, 1 means first column. Okay, so this is how we have to do. Okay, and for selecting, we use execute query method. For updating or inserting, delete or deleting data, we use execute update method here. So for selecting data, we use stmt.execute query method. For inserting, updating and deleting data, we use stmt.execute update method. And once this is done, once we get all the data, then we have to close the connection. So con.close. So this is how we will connect to a database and execute the queries. Let's see an example for this one. So now what I'm doing is I'm creating a new package here, and the package name is DB testing, and click on finish. The package is created here. Right click on this one and create a new class here, and the class name is let's say MySQL connection, and I'm using the main method. Click on finish. So now the class is created. So just remember that before doing this one, we need to configure the JDBC driver with Eclipse, otherwise it won't work. So we have already seen that step where we have right clicked and go to the Java build path, and then we have added the external jar file, which is MySQL Java connector. So we have already done this one, so we can now go with the program. Okay, now the first step we have to do is we have to register the driver class. So for registering the driver class, we use forName of class. So class dot forName, and then we have to give com dot mysql dot cj dot jdbc dot driver. So this is the one, com dot mysql dot jdbc dot driver. So com dot mysql dot jdbc dot driver. Okay. Now, okay, let's take out this semicolon here, and it is throwing an error saying that we have to handle the exception. So click on add throws declaration. Now class not found exception is added here. Now this is done. So the first statement is register the driver class. So we have registered the driver class, and now the second one. The second one is we have to create a connection object. So for creating a connection object, what we have to do is connection con equals to driver manager dot get connection of. So the first one is we have to give the MySQL server URL. So this MySQL server URL starts with JDBC MySQL localhost. Since we are running the database in our localhost, we have to give localhost and the port number 3306 slash, and then we have to give the database name here, which is DB testing in our case, and then we have to give the database username and password. So the database username that we have created yesterday was Selenium, and then Selenium again. So we have created a connection object and it is throwing an error here. So the error was import connection. So just click on that one and the connection class is imported, and then it is throwing another error here, which is add throws declaration. So let's add this one. So it has added SQL exception. Okay, now we have created the connection object. Now the next one is we have to create a statement. So create a statement. For creating a statement, what we have to do is statement stmt equals to con dot create statement. So this is the connection object that we have created. So we have to use statement stmt is equal to con dot create statement. So it is throwing an error here, so which is import statement from Java SQL. So click on this one. Now the statement class is imported. So now we have created a statement, and the next one is we have to execute the query. So for executing the query, we have to use result set. So execute query. So result set rs equals to, we have to use the statement object stmt dot. So first let's run the select operation, that means retrieving the data. So we will use execute query. So we will say select star from DB, it's not DB testing, the table name is employees, and then semicolon. So it is throwing an error here, and the error is import result set from java.sql. So click on that one. So now the result set is imported. Now we get all the data into this result set rs. So we have to loop through this one. So while rs dot next. So in this loop, what we will say is system.out.println. We are printing everything. First one is an ID actually. So rs dot get int of 1, and then I will give a space here saying, okay, so this is the space, plus rs dot get string of 2, and then I'll give a space here, plus rs dot get string of 3. Okay, so this one, since the first one is an integer ID, so let's see it in the database table. So for this one, we need to run the MySQL server as well. So let's start the XAMPP. So go to the start menu and then come down, and then you will see XMAP here, XAMPP here, and open this XAMPP control panel. And in this one, start this Apache server and start this MySQL server as well. So if you see this one, this MySQL server, the port number is 3306 here. That's why we have given the port number as 3306 here. This is the port number. So now the MySQL server is started. Now let's open phpMyAdmin. So we'll say http://localhost/phpMyAdmin, and now it is open. And in the DB testing, let's go to the employees table. So in the employees table, if you see, we have ID, first name, last name, age, company, and a salary. In this one, ID is an integer, first name and last name are nothing but strings, age is again an integer, company is a string, and salary is an integer. So that's why if you see, the first one, since it is an integer, I have to use getInt method. And the second one and third one, which are nothing but first name and last name, they are strings. So I am using rs.getString of 2 and rs.getString of 3. And the next one is age is an integer, company is a string, and salary is an integer. So I use getInt, getString, and getInt. So plus rs.getInt of 4 plus rs.getString of 5 plus rs.getInt of 6. Okay, so now we got everything, each and every column data, and we are printing it. And then finally, once this is done, then we have to close the connection. So for closing the connection, what we have to do is con.close. So this is how we close the connection. Okay, now the program is completed, we can execute it. But before executing this one, let's see this one more time, what we have done so far. So before executing, before writing any program for Java database connectivity, first we have to download the JDBC driver. So JDBC Driver. So this JDBC driver, you can go to Google and search it for MySQL connector Java. So this is what you have to search it in Google, and you will get the download link, and you can download it. And once you download this one, unzip this particular folder, and you will get a particular MySQL connector Java jar file, and you have to configure this one in Eclipse. So you have to go to Java build path, and go to library, and then click on add external jar files and add this one in Eclipse, so that it will be configured. Now once this is done, then you can start writing the program. And for writing the program for connecting to the database, we have to register the driver class, create a connection object, create a statement, execute the queries, and then finally close the connection. And once this is done, for executing it, you have to start MySQL server. So start the MySQL server. This is nothing but open the XAMPP console and start Apache and MySQL servers. Then once this is started, then we can execute the program. So in our case, we have already started this MySQL server, so we can directly execute the program. And in this program, we have already registered the driver class first using class.forName, and then we have created a connection object using connection con is equal to driver manager.get connection of JDBC MySQL. This is the database URL. So this is how we have to give JDBC MySQL 2 / localhost, and this is the port number 3306. So if you see here, so this is the port 3306. This is where this MySQL server is started. So we have to give the port number here, and then this is the database name, DB testing. So this DB testing we have created in the previous video, and this Selenium and Selenium are the username and passwords for the database. So we have to give the username and password here. So once this is done, then we have to create a statement using the connection object that we have created, which is statement stmt is equal to con create statement, and then we have to execute the query. Result set rs is equal to stmt.execute query and select star from employees, and if it is an update or delete or inserting query, then we have to use execute update here, and this returns a result set actually. So we have to use while rs.next and then system.out.println rs.getInt. We have to use either getInt or getString methods based on whether the columns are of integer type or string type. Since the first one is an id which is an integer, then we are using getInt, and the second column and third column, these are first name and last name, so we are using getString. Similarly, fourth one, it is an age, so we are using getInt, and fifth one is company, so we are using getString, and the sixth one is salary, which is again an integer, so we are using getInt. So once we print all these things, then we have to close the connection using con.close. So this is how we write the program. Now since we have already configured the jar file, JDBC Driver jar file, and we have also started MySQL server, and we have also written this program, so let's run this one. So run as Java application, and you can see that it is showing 2 James Smith 35, Infosys 13 lakhs. So in the database, if you see, this is 2 James Smith 35, Infosys and 13 lakhs. So this is how we can connect to a database and execute the queries. So let's execute some more queries with this one. Let me do one thing here. So it is also throwing, it is also showing some error here. Loading class com.mysql.jdbc driver. This is deprecated. So this one, it is saying that it is deprecated. Deprecated means it will be removed in future. The new driver class is com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. So this is what we have to use. So we have to use this extra point cj. So let's use that one. So it is cj dot, and let's run this one more time, and we won't see this error. So run as Java application, and you can see that it is directly printing the results, and it is not showing any error here. So instead of using a deprecated one, we have to use the one that is suggested by Eclipse. Okay. So now we are getting all the results from employees table, and we are printing them. Okay. Now let's use one more query here, and the query is result set rs is equal to stmt. We will use an insert query here. So instead of since we are using an insert query, we have to use execute update, and here we will say insert into employees, and we have to give the column names here. So the first one is first name, second one is last name, third one is age, fourth one is company, and fifth one is salary. We have to use values, and the first one is first name. So first name I will say Mike, and the last name I will use Smith. So make sure that you are using single quotes here for these ones. Okay, and then we have to use we have to give the age. Age is 40. Since this is an integer, we won't give any single quotes. And then company is let's say IBM, and then salary is an integer, so we won't give any single quotes here. So 10 lakhs, and close this one. Okay, so now this is done. So here we have to take out this one. Okay, and it is throwing an error here. It is saying change type of rs to int. So let's see what this error is. Okay, so the first thing is we don't need to use the result set here because it won't return anything, so we don't need to use this one. Result set directly here, result set. Okay, now this is okay. So finally we have to put a semicolon at the end. Okay, so since this execute update won't return anything, only select query returns something. So we have to capture it in a result set. But since execute update won't return anything, we don't need to capture anything. So we'll directly say htmt.execute update. Okay, now let us run this one. So run as Java application, and you can see that it has inserted a new row, which is a third row, Mike, Smith, Farty, IBM, and 10 lakhs. So this is how you can select the whole data from the database, and also you can insert or update or execute or delete the data. For example, in this one here I am inserting some data, so I am using execute update, and since it is not returning anything, I am not capturing it into a result set. But here I am selecting the data, so I am using execute query here, and since it returns a result set, I am capturing it into a result set and I am printing it using while rs.next loop. Okay, so this is how we can connect to a database and we can run different queries on the database. In this video, we have seen how to connect to a database in Java using JDBC drivers. We have also seen how to configure the MySQL connector in Eclipse and how to write a program and how to execute it. If you want to download the documentation for this one, you can go to my repository at github.com/subboostech and then go to selenium-java-tutorials. This particular tutorial starts with numbering 26B. So this is here, Java database connectivity, connecting to a database and execute queries using Java. You can download this document. In the next video, we will see about Java reflections, loading classes, constructors and methods at runtime. Because this Java reflections, we use it in keyword driven framework. So we need to know what this Java reflections package is. Using this Java reflections package, you don't need to create object, but you can load the classes, constructors and methods at runtime in another class. So this is if you have to work in keyword driven framework, then you have to know this Java reflection. So in the next video, we will cover this Java reflections package.